Alright, it is showtime. That's what it's telling me. So, what is up again? I hope everybody is doing brilliantly and this audio is coming through fine. I better just give myself a double check. And it seems like that's going good. Thanks for anybody who is watching. Impromptu stream, open panel. As you can see, have your word heard. So, basically, that's the main game. If you want to come up, just drop a little um, note in the chat, and I will definitely drop the link. But before we were on that sort of thought that today, we should be, you content creators should be coming up with, you know, material which is captivating the audience enough for them to want to listen and then continue to watch around and then maybe join and get up here and have their word. So I don't want to just drop it straight away and rely on the audience. I'm trying to get it through and show some interesting facts though before I just like drop the link. But this is have your word heard, so if you do want to come up, um, definitely just let me know, put it in the chat and I'll just come through. I'll drop it pretty soon. So what I'll do, I just got it's an impromptu idea, so I thought I'd just go through a few pictures, I guess, that I had screenshots which I've saved up over the years that I wanted to really just talk about and see what if anybody's got any thoughts of their own about it. So before I'll start. Basically, because a lot of people really probably don't realize this fact either. The Tyndale, Norman Tyndale, um, born 1900 to 1993. Fortunately, he had a great long life. But in 1940, he was traveling around the Australian continent and basically trying to designate where all the tribal regions of Australia were. And so basically that broke down to something like this. So if I could zoom in on that. Oh, not like that. Let's just make it a bit bigger. But then, okay, we go. Alright, I can't really read the words, it's not focusing. But, to the point, basically all these little different colored areas designate a different tribe and dialect, different culture, maybe the differentiations in certain tribal laws and customary traditions. So yeah, most definitely language, story, song, things like that. Because song is very, very, very important in the Indigenous Australian way of life. That's how their story and their tradition of their culture got passed down from generation to generation through song. So when you see with the men with the clapsticks and doing their song, they're singing a song telling a tale of the past and the land and way things were. So the clearest picture that I'll try and clear it up a bit, but just for video's sake, it worked out. You can see here there's over 100, so different little tribe sections. So with their different dialects. Even in Tasmania, there is, which is I'll show you later. I'll show you the last remaining supposed survivor, who've been Tasmanian Aboriginal has been completely decimated, or there's no full-blood Tasmanian Aboriginal left alive. Um, but yeah, like, you can see, just it amazes me, like, just the amount of different tribes, especially. I mean, look in this area here. This is kind of what they would call Victoria now. Um, just in between this small space, there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Like, about 25 within this tiny space here, and that's not it, that's a half of Victoria. But how they've split up Australia now is basically, if you can follow the cursor, you go down across here, into here, like that. That would be Queensland, one state. Another state crosses here, being New South Wales, all around here. Sydney is around here. ACT is within here, a small, and that's where Canberra is, the Parliament House and the capital. Victoria, as I said, would be down here, on this section just here, where the cursor is going. Tasmania, around to this area, is South Australia, from here to there. Above that, all across here in this region, is Northern Territory, and then from this, everything west of this cursor, everything to the left side of the screen, left side of the screen past that is Western Australia. So this continent was over the 200 years of colonization or whatnot, has been divided into 7 states and 2 territories, I think. So let's just double count that: Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, Western Australia, South Australia, Tasmania. Okay, so 6 then, and then 2 territories. So Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania, South Australia, Western Australia, Northern Territory, ACT. Okay, so 6 states and 2 territories. They divided this landmass up into over that time, whereas you can see here how many more vastness there was with the initial tribal kind of, establishment. And so here's another photo that I wanted to show. I guess I'll just put it up because it came up now and it's easy to show. This was like, so Aborigines of Australia. I'm not sure what date this came through. Can't see depicting. So I mean, it's obviously a graphic taken. Now, to me, what this shows, I mean, I'd love to hear what everybody else thinks and what your opinion about this, what do you say? But I see something so beautiful, like really, it's amazing. There's this elder, wise man, standing proud with his beard, his shield, his spear. His spear is taller than him. He's obviously an elder, wearing, he's got his hair probably dreaded up and like dreadlocks up, and then he's wrapped them around. And just the physique of this man, he was probably in his 60s or 80s or something even. And he has, to see no belly, still, strong muscles, strong leg muscles, no fat around the torso, nearly got a 6-pack at being with white beard. This gentleman too, strong physique, no pot belly at all. The women as well, she looks like an elder, probably her partner, her partner. These two maybe together, maybe not, but They seem the same age, um, and these women here. It's kind of it's beautiful to me. It really is. In it's just I don't know. It's just to me that it's just amazing because that's just something like living off the land and being one with the earth and being with the needs and not wants and being about community, being about everybody else, being making sure everybody is okay to live in their little what's the kind of boundary of or sanctuary, as some might put it. Um, so I mean, this picture here, obviously every picture is well, they say a picture can paint 1,000 words, but they what's the word? Everything is definitely put there for a significant reason, and to see these people in the back who are fully clothed, it kind of I'm not sure what that entails in the meaning from the describer of this picture. Was that what they were wanting, or? But anyway, as that came up, um, we can show you that. That was something I wanted to show a bit later, but that was just these were the people who held those tribes all around. So there was, as we saw that picture before, hundreds of different areas of dialects of tribes. These are the people that made it up, and there was so there weren't just one. There wasn't just one type of people here. There was you know hundreds, as you just saw. So and it comes from, I guess, from this map. Same thing. You can't really. How can I make it bigger with? Anyway, we'll get out of there. Um, so Tyndale, he was the man to do it. To hey, what up? We got one man in here, party DJ. He wants to come through. That's a beautiful thing. Dropped a link for you, my brother. So everybody out there, who's listening, party music DJ Oki. So check it. It's OCKY. Party music DJ OCKY. Make sure you subscribe to him. Congratulations, he's on 6,000 at the moment. Killing it daily, streaming daily, and just really, really doing it. He's got me. I've lost where I was now, but Mel Stevie, skirt, hey. Um, but and yeah, as you just said there, brother, R.I.P. to the Tasmania, right? So this was um, the main. This was the last. Uh, let's say like the last full-blooded indigenous Tasmanian Aboriginal. Her name was Truganini. Um, so unfortunately, the situation which took place was quite savage and sad. Like the back in the 1800 colony, early 1800s, they basically, because Tasmania was used as a penal colony, um, and it they they oops, where was I at? I was seeing if you jumped in, bro. Um, so it's used as a like a penal colony in the sense of a jail. They sent all the convicts over there, and it was very, very harsh conditions from England and whatnot. So they wanted to move all the original inhabitants out who were living you know, in beautiful, even though it was so cold, that was the other part. So this is another tribal sense of another culture. Like they were able to sustain the environment and inhabit the inhabitants, right? Or inhabit the area, even though the cold was there, they could withstand it because they were able to keep fires, and had very much like animal furs, that would keep them warm. And whereas, as I just showed the picture of the other tribes that who were wearing no clothes, so that was kind of like up on the northern regions of Australia where it's quite hot. Obviously the need for it wasn't a necessity, but yeah. So the story was that there was about five left, two two women and three men. I'm pretty sure, at the final stages, and they were the English colonized government at that time were like, oh well, let's try and do the best for them, and we'll put them all onto a separate reserve away from everything. And they were the these people didn't leave happily. They weren't wanting to go to this place. They said, no, I want to stay on my country. I want to stay where I'm at. And they sort of got forced out there, slowly forced out there. If not, they were probably killed. And what kind of ended up happening over time, some died of sorrow, like it really was written. They died of heartache. And now others died of disease that they came across when they came in contact with the Europeans, because this was viruses they were not exposed to, or in germs they weren't exposed to. These were the five full-blooded Tasmanian Aboriginals I'm talking about, not to name the ones on the mainland that all got decimated through form of getting exposed to new germs. So that's Truganini there, right? So, and also I should have made a disclaimer to, it was my bad. Any Indigenous viewers, there'll be pictures of people that have passed, or present. So, cheers to Mayor Stevie. Why, Mayor Stevie, where's my brother? He didn't want to join. But I dropped the thing. I dropped the thing. I'll drop it again, but I'll keep going. Thanks for joining, everybody. Just it's an impromptu open panel. Have your word heard. Absolutely. In the beginning, I went through. I was just going through a few things. So I think I'll go. What was it? Oh, oops. Okay. Oh, I forgot where the pictures went. Yay. Yeah, just hang on a second. Should have sorted it out and organized it. Um, yeah, it should be all that. Should be that. So, nah. I'll get there, Mel Stevie. Don't worry. Mel Stevie? Some Mel Stevie? Skirt! But yeah, once again, man, congrats to my man. And see, alright, we'll go over this picture. This is a great picture to show how the indigenous basically were very much in line and astute with the constellations. This being here the Southern Cross, which is the main thing that the Europeans talk about, which in the Southern Hemisphere is the biggest director for the, if you're like guide, I guess, if you're sailing over and trying to navigate the seas. With this picture here shows you definitely indigenous tribal men with their spears pointing up at the stars, and they have many many constellations. And I had tried to find it out previously, but the I just can't seem to do it. I'm sure I'll be able to get it soon enough, but the actual the Australian Institute of you know, constellation, or the people who look at the stars and the zodiac, or not, you know, this the constellation movements and things like that. They have taken all the main Aboriginal constellations, like the emu, um, whichever ones they are, the other ones that are there, and they constitute up the picture of Australia and their symbol. So it's quite fascinating that that happens, and they don't really tell you about it. Um, oh, here we go. So there is another one. Sorry, they're a bit out of order and stuff, but and they're not as this is a big red. That's probably not the biggest you're getting. It's probably a baby. Um, but these were the ones. These are because there's many types of kangaroos over here. There's small eastern greys. There's wallabies. There's probably, I don't know, five to seven different types. But these guys were the ones, they grow to maybe, like, because their tail, once if they stand on that, because it's very strong tail, so they're able to basically how they kick with their legs. If I'm not sure if people have seen kangaroos fight each other, but very very powerful. Got ripping like claws on the end of it, and yeah, so they'll stand up on their tail, kick to the towards the opponent. But once they're on their tail, they could be up to about 8 feet in height, in fully grown male, and probably over 120 kilo. Like yeah, so quite powerful. They used to have a silly. The British used to fight literally used to put and get in a boxing ring with these sort of things. It was their entertainment. So that shows you how um, I don't know, wise they are, I guess, and what sort of entertainment they're like. There was one. I had something. Yeah, where did it? I just don't know. I'm sure I labeled it for this thing, but now I'll find it. It will just won't take me. It'll take me a sec. If it was in here, I would have found it. But today, not today, you mate. Yeah, yeah. Stevie. All right, my mate. What up,
I was
brother?
on stage for like an hour, cuz.
Oh shit. No, you weren't. Maybe
I
10 minutes.
was.
Oh, peace to everyone. I came back here and you weren't here, so then I went back in. How are you?
I'm alright, man.
Chilling?
Yeah.
Good. How did the stream go earlier? Everybody who's listening, man, welcome you to my friend, uh, Party Music DJ Oki.
Yes, sir.
Um, so OCKY, check him out. He's doing really well on his YouTube, so consistent.
Hmm.
So and he's helping out people too. You know, he's got the right attitude about growth and professionality. So I'm
Yeah.
looking through here for a couple
Yo,
new
that
people.
video I just did, it was 7 hours and I got 1,000 views. It's got 108 likes. And it still got monetized. No copyright flags.
Awesome,
Yeah, man.
awesome. Hey, you hit 108. Nice. We
Hey,
had to stay
bro.
on for 7 hours.
Hey, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't want to even come on stage because I didn't want to cut you off and distract you like I'm doing now because you was on to something. Damn it.
No, it's all right. I'm still looking for these photos. It wasn't much. I just had a few other things to go, but yeah, no, I'll keep going. But that's the whole point. Yeah, as I said initially too, when I got on, I wanted it because this is open panel, but the like some people just come on and put StreamYard in straight away, and it's like you should kind of do something to captivate the audience first, you know,
Mhm.
like do something that uh, shows a bit of initiative, and then maybe put the thing link in the stream. So you know, instead of just trying to
Yeah, I agree.
get all your content from someone
Hey,
else, you know,
Nikaylee Ditter. You know Nikaylee Ditter? She in the chat. Nikaylee Ditter's in the chat, bro.
salute
Yeah, she just.
all the way. Thank you very much for coming through, Kaylee. I better just shout you out, and thanks for pointing that out. But this, if you see this picture here of this gentleman, this wasn't the order I wanted to put it through, but this is Dakombao, right? He is the Fijian tribal chief who kind of engaged with the British discoverers in the colony to what's that? To give them the right to rule, I guess, colonial rule. So, in the sense that Australia was, see, there was doctrine of discovery has had two terms. It was basically you had to have a treaty or you took over in war, right? Took over in war or you made a treaty, right? So they were British were sent here to the Australian island to make a treaty, but as I've said previously in many streams, and I will continue to say, Captain Cook, the man that was on that first discovering ship, he made a new rule because he thought, well, there's not enough people here, so he said there's not even any people here. What he thought, well, what he claimed, and so he made something called Terra Nullius. So it was option C, a land of nothing. So that's another reason, another option of doctrine of discovery. So if you are able to go and find a land mass with no people on it, so he claimed them to be animals, flora and fauna, up until 1967. Although he died in the mid 1800s, or maybe late 1800s, mid 1800s, sorry, in Hawaii. He got speared because he was trying to rape a native woman. But basically, in 18, back to the picture, Ratu, that's how you say chief, Dakambao. He seeded the islands of Fiji. He was see, and the main language that is spoken in Fiji, the same thing with the dialects I was talking about in Australia, how there was hundreds all
So
over the
when you
place.
say Fiji, are you meaning Fiji water? Like
Yeah, man, the
you know
Fijian
Fiji
islands where
water?
Fijian islands where Fiji
Are
water
those the
comes
same
from.
places?
Fiji water, yes, brother, absolutely. Can you see
So
that? Am I
so
still showing?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly. So
yeah.
that Fiji, that place is in Australia.
No, no, that place is in this. It's this guy. See, that's why it's a little bit off thing. I was looking for another couple photos, but I just found this one. So this, he was the chief of Fiji. So this has got nothing to do with Australia.
Oh, where's
Um,
Fiji at though?
it's basically 3 hours on the plane off the coast of Queensland of Australia. So, and if you go, you know, and if you go straight down, you'll get to New Zealand. If you go up, that's in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. So right next to that is Tonga. A little bit more uh, up. I'm not sure how many hours you'd have to go, but maybe 4 or 5 hours you might get to Hawaii.
Hmm.
Right, but yeah, probably a little bit more east too. So it's very close to Australia, but 3 hours in the plane. Um,
So going east, it would be Australia, Hawaii, United States. Going east. If you said Fiji is near
yeah,
Australia,
yep.
Australia is off the coast of what country? Asia, Japan.
Well, Australia is an island. It's an island, but it's also a continent, right? It's the
Right.
smallest. It's the biggest island, but the smallest continent. So, basically, you've got Australia. Uh, to the east, just off the coast, is New Zealand. Above it, you've got Papua New Guinea and Indonesia. And then above that, you've got like Thailand, Vietnam, and then the mainland, like China
Okay, okay,
and all
okay.
that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
So,
visual.
yeah. Um, Yeah, so that I mean, and those places, as I mentioned before on another stream, they were the Cannibal Isles. So a lot of the those settlers and things, they were very afraid of this area because these people were very you know the Europeans weren't able to get onto these islands because the people were able to defend them. But anyway, this guy here, Dakambao, basically what I was saying with the languages, the main language which is spoken in Fiji is Mbao. So it's spelled Baw as the last three letters of his name, but when you do the Fijian alphabet, it's pronounced with a B is a mb. So da. It's and a C is D and a D is like a C. So Mbao is how they is the main language. It's the main dialect of the whole place. But they do have like hundreds of different um, dialects there because there's about 330 plus islands that make Fiji. And yeah, the water that comes from there is literally, it's true. It's a spring. They have mountain spring water and it's so fresh and yeah, it's legit. Um, So I'll just try and find this one more photo. It was called in. I named it too, man, and like I don't know where it went, but I'll find it. Hopefully, it was called in chains, and it's like just to kind of symbolize. Oh, it was right there. But where did it run to?
All, where
Um,
Australia is, because Australia and New Zealand, I never really paid attention to that till now, and Papua New Guinea, and that's all near Taiwan and Japan, and going east, you would hit Hawaii. Because I'm thinking about the migration and how they if they were selling back in ancient.
yeah, the trade, of course.
Yeah,
Yep.
but even then though, because they might not even have to travel that far because the water, the sea, the ocean might not have even been that big or constructed yet. The land masses was all one at one time. All the land masses was connected at one time. So I'm thinking like
Yeah,
they migrated, they might not even have to travel that far.
when it was Pangea, yeah, when they say.
Yeah,
Um, so this is another picture of to the indigenous
poor
Australians,
dirt
just to
farmer,
show the
poor dirt farmer just came in the
hey.
chat too. Poor dirt
Oh,
farmer just
nice. Peace up, brother. He's a cool guy. You should check out his streams too. He's really down to earth guy who got some real vigor and movement behind. He doesn't just talk and he lives. He walks the walk. He doesn't just talk the talk. So peace up, Paul, to the man, Dort family. He's got some couple cool dogs that he takes out. Gives us some nature views. He's got some good views. But back to this picture, it's basically I just found that one here just to show these guys would have been the most most likely the Tasmanian ones as they're wearing the clothes, and just I wanted to show the ochre how they put that in their hair in their dreads. You can see like that's the color of the dirt. Like some, I think it's Kenyan tribes at the moment. They still do the same thing. They'll color their hair with the ochre dirt. They'll color their whole body with it. So these were traditions that were going on here as well. Um, to might show you the what's this? Oh, well, here we go. This is something. Here we go. Well, it's kind of not the one I was after, but this is similar. Now, if you have a look at this picture, what comes to mind? Or what do you like? I mean, you got one, two, three, four, five, six. seven, eight, 10 people, all chained up neck by neck, with one guy smiling here in the background. He's all happy. Another one here, and then you've got another Aboriginal like tracker man who's kind of, he was the tracker, obviously. So what he would have done is help these two find these people, because according to the law, they're breaking the law. Being, I'm not sure. Like, I mean, some of them may have committed certain crimes, or I don't even know the circumstances of this picture, but it's pretty horrid, really. It just, but this is one thing that I was trying to get at, just the chain thing. You can see, and this was probably like, what, 1900s for sure, man. This would have been 1930s or 1940s even. This was going on, and you can just see the look on these guys' faces, man. They're looking at the camera, just like, "What's going on? What is this? Who are you guys?" Like. But anyway, it's pretty sad to me, but that's why I'd like to hear everybody's opinion. But yeah, that's about it. I think. I mean, I think that was. I mean, I'll go through a few more. Oh, and these are the constellations. So there's an emu, right? It's a it's very Southern Cross being there, which is like a very, as I said before, the main constellation which people navigate through in the southern hemisphere. But the emu was very important to the indigenous. And there's this, what is it? The hawk's foot, I think. It's the claw of a hawk. It's another one. Very famous. Actually, that even may be the Southern Cross, but um, I'd have to. I should have learnt on that. Um, oh, here we go. So this was the one I'd named, but similar thing, different scene, same thing. But and what I might add again, look at these guys' physique, right? As I said about earlier, the elder that was there, he was probably 80 years old. Still strong muscles, standing strong, with his spear about the size of him. He had his torso, had no pot belly, nothing. Look at all these guys, they got six packs, man, and they're probably mid 30s, 40s, something like that. Oh, no, I don't know, maybe mid 30s, late 20s. Um, healthy bodies, man, no fat on them, just like warriors, you know what I mean? Living off the land, eating healthy food, um, and just treated like literal animals, classified as animals. So, what's this? Oh, I think that's a Native American. Um, so male Stevie. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think I didn't really have too much more. I mean, I can do it at another time, but yeah.
So God Boy Sean
Um,
News and Super Sense they want to hear.
say
God
what?
God Body Sean News and Super
Yeah,
Sense.
yeah. Oh, they just joined in. Oh, what up, bro? Much peace, man. You just missed out on a vital information. I was going on for like 40 minutes with some, what you call it, open panel impromptu discussion. If you did see, uh, I know they probably at work, these guys, eh? So, there's a link. More than happy to have you guys come up and have your word heard. Even Paul Dirt, man, or Nikali, Kirk, Greenleaf, Pugface, you know. Don't be afraid. Oh, Merc, my man, I didn't see you. Excellent. You're listening though. Are you obviously busy? Peace up, my man. So yeah, thanks for everybody. Like that's cool. What do you reckon about that, brother? What party? What
Some
did
good
you
beats too, bro.
say? What?
You got some good beats.
Oh yeah, that goes without saying.
Uh,
Um, nah, but nah, man. I mean, I've been doing it for a while, and I've got to want to keep doing it. I really want to keep. I've got to keep pushing it, man. Just not savvy with my online stuff yet. You know, like if we can talk in emails and stuff, it'd be good. Um, I just got to set up these things. Like I don't even have an Instagram yet. Like you know, so I've got to set up my Facebook, set up the Instagram, and really just start loading up, and making sure it's hitting a lot of people and constantly, as we say, consistent, captivating material. You know, it's
yeah,
got to keep that going, and it will build. So. And as I was saying at the beginning of the stream, it's like if you people who just come on and hit StreamYard link straight away and say, "All right, come and join me." Why isn't anybody joining me? Then really they're not bringing anything to the table. So you know, I want to.
I'm thinking
Um,
you said the pan gap, right? Is that's when all the landmass was connected? That's the pan gap.
yeah, yeah, Pangea, Pangea,
'Cause
Pangea.
I'm thinking about the migration of maybe the original human and how he migrated east. Yeah, he might that human migrated east, or that group multiplied and migrated east. Yeah, the Pangaea. Um, because I was seeing how the mutations would have happened, and I got a theory that how the Tasmanians looked if the Pangaea was connected traveling east, the Tasmanian would be would be prior to the Asian, and that would give you some type of of composite of the Native American already being in the Americas, and how they looked and how they almost look Japanese. I'm not being racist. This is intelligence. This
Yeah,
is information.
yeah,
So I kind of see how the mutation would have happened if the African migrated east and the Pangea and multiplied in different groups, and the environment, how it adapted to the is it extraterrestrial or whatever
yeah,
that is when you adapt to the environment, the sun and all that. And maybe
yeah.
after Pangea, the land started separating, more mutations happen. But I can see the progression. Like I can see the progression actually.
Mm.
Maybe then.
Yeah, that's pretty true. I mean, I can hear what you're saying, but just to say, like, um, another kind of it was a sort of like a folk's tale from Fiji. I've mentioned it before and other things, but I've been told this like when I was over there that it's kind of like a bit of a mythology kind of thing, but it could be true. But um, when they were warring, uh, back centuries ago, before any other people like a European settlement. Um, Basically, you know how have you seen Melanesian, Micronesian, Polynesian, like people like the Rock, right? And people from Papua New Guinea and people from Fiji, they're a lot darker. They have more thick afro, you know, like rather than the people from Hawaii. Oh, party just went. Um, But what I was basically on that same thought, he was saying how they moved east and maybe the Tasmanian linked up and how the Asian came about. But there's a story of when they were warring, the islanders were warring with the Taiwanese. Or that was the main kind of traditional, what do you call it, powerhouse or whatnot. And due to the war that was took place, the islanders won, and spoils of the war was the women. And now, so all the Taiwanese Asian women got sent over to these islands, and that's what may have brought about the Polynesian look, which kind of goes on to the Native American look. That kind of, you know, uh, just the features and things like that. If you oppose that to a Papua New Guinean or a Vanuatu, Solomon Islander, there's there's a difference there. So I mean, I couldn't put all the money on it, but hey, what's going on here? There's a bit of fuddy duddy going in the chat. So I hope it's all fun, Super Sense and Nikaylee. But it's none of my business really. But oh yeah, we have people in the house. Um, much peace to everybody joining. This is just impromptu. I've already kind of explained a lot in the beginning, so it was open. It's open panel. Have your word heard. If you guys have got anything to say or add to the beginning pieces, then more than welcome. But if you didn't see it, I can understand. But the links there. I was just basically talking. Beginning pieces were about kind of Indigenous Australia, conditions that were treated, a little bit about Fijian history, Chief Duckambao. Um, so, I mean, if you got any ideas you want me to research or look up, just pop them in the chat and I will be glad to do so. Um, so, um, I'm not sure, Charlotte. Maybe. I'm not sure. Um, did she just unhide a spammer? I'm not sure. Don't like spammers. Any spammers in here? You can go back to spam land, alright? Um, so yeah, I guess everybody in the US is working at. Oh no, I don't know what's the time over there for you job turkeys. I don't know. Yeah, it'd be mid afternoon. Everybody's in the middle of their shift, doing their thing. But that's cool. Um, let's see what topics did I just. Oh no. Oops, sorry. I should. What else? I'll go through more pictures then. I'll see if I can. I did a mod. What did she say? If I did, if I undid a mod's doing, I apologize. Oh, okay. No worries. Um, it's two. Thanks, Nikaylee. No worries, Charlotte. Should be okay. I think everything was alright. Um, good here. Sorry for the confusing screen for this minute. Um, there'll be nothing on here. I'll bring this up then. So yeah, to people out there, you check this guy out. Diaspora, Playback 808, PBK 808. He's a great friend of mine who lives here. He got nominated for Young Australian of the Year 2000. I mean 2020. Sudanese refugee. Basically, he's the founder of the label Playback 808. He's got a few artists under him. So he's got a new album that's dropped. It's out, available everywhere. You can stream it or buy it. Called Austral Alien, Australien. So yeah, just check that out. A bit of a plug for my brother. He's awesome. So and check. I'll show you just a bit of fun. This guy's a champ. This guy's a lawyer, right? He got me off so many. He got me off in South Australia. He got me off this hella charge. Eugene McGee, champion, absolute champion. I can't see the. Where's all the photos? All my files. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, well, this is for the people that haven't seen this flag and that are not aware. This is the Australian Indigenous Aboriginal flag, which represents the black represents the people, the red represents the color of the earth because we have a lot of red dirt, the red ochre dirt in majority of the coverage of the land mass of Australia, and yellow being the sun, the main life source for everything that comes off the earth. So that's how that's broken down. Because they really believe that everything is from the earth. We go back to the earth, and um, that's how it is. Okay, here's another one. These are the Tasmanian Aboriginals. Um, So as you can see here, Terra de Demon, because they called it Van Diemen's Land when they first came, which is something like the Devil's Island or something like that if you translated it. So portraits from Tasmanian Aborigines from Francois Perron's voyage, discoveries, or Terras Australis, right? So the land Australis, and which was the anyway, just really the way that they did it. Could you recognize these people? Do you think they're animals or do you think they're humans? They're wrapped up. This guy's got colored dreads. Like that's the other part. That's the red ochre that you'll find in I think it's Kenyan tribes, the East Africans, the ones that they use the mud and they cover their skin, cover their hair with it. It's the same principle and custom. Um, so would you think an animal would be doing that? An animal would be wearing a wrapped, fur like a an animal fur that they've skinned. So these are the ones from Tasmania, as I was saying before, because the ones up in mainland northern Australia, it's very hot temperature. You don't need it, so they'd be running around kind of um, bare clothes with just covering the genitals and things like that. Um, so that's kind of like possum furs they put together, and to keep them warm because it would have been freezing conditions in Tasmania. Um, so and before there's another. I think if people missed it earlier, this is a big red. It's a pretty small one, but these were the kangaroos. There's various types of kangaroos in Australia. Um, Eastern greys, they're pretty small. Other ones, and the big reds are the ones which can actually really do damage to humans. The big males can get up to maybe 8 feet when they stand on their tail. Their tail, they support themselves on that and balance, and then they kick with their feet. They've got very powerful feet with big claws on it. If you've ever seen a kangaroo fight. Um, so there's some info there. I'll just go through see what else I've got here. Oh, here looks like some. This is slavery. This has got to do with, I think, American slavery. I think, and just some of the, uh, what's it, penalties and torture, not torture, but like mechanisms that they'd use for people that they deemed to have worked badly. some of the atrocious things that went down. I'll just check is anybody there. Anybody is more than welcome to come across and just, or even anything that's want me to look up. Just type it in and I will do without it, no problem. But if you're enjoying what I'm doing, um, put a smiley face in there. Um, this is a picture of the convicts from Australia, the ones, see, as you said, it says convict transportation. So these were the ones that came from, basically, because if you're not sure, Australia was settled to be a a penal colony, which is basically a jail. So Tasmania started off as the main thing, which was an island off the mainland, which was going to be the biggest jail. Um, and they settled up at Sydney with to bring the aristocrats and things like that. So you can see the kind of conditions that they would have been under. Maybe this is him. This is how they had a bath. They washed them with a broom in a bucket or something like that. Um, yeah, so that was that. I'll close that off. Close that off. Um, let's have a look here. Oh, there was the fighters here. I mean, before I don't think, yeah, some people would have seen this, but a lot of people may have not because you came a bit late. But this was the sort of thing I wanted to show. This would have been taken in, say, 1940s, maybe even later. I'm not actually sure of the date of this photo, but just by looking at their clothes, his weapon. Um, Obviously, this guy here, Indigenous, would have been a tracker. So, because these gentlemen would have never found these guys without his help. They would have known the landscape too well to be able to hide. Like, they would have been able to hide easily. Whereas this guy knew what the things were to hide the tricks, and they were able to pick up bits of stone and say, "Oh, this has been kicked by somebody who walked," and things like this, and just those little things that they pick up. Amazing. And it's kind of sad, man. I don't know. I'd like to hear you guys' opinion on this. Like, what do you guys think of this picture? I mean, there's 10 people there. These two in the back seem to be okay and they're smiling fine, but they don't have any chains around their necks. These 10 don't seem to be smiling, and they just seem to be like pretty disgruntled. This guy seems pretty proud of himself, but he's obviously going to get some reward for bringing these boys in. But it's atrocious conditions, like the way they were treated, really, really bad. But we saw that before, but that was just for the people who popped in new. And okay, and this is where I started off, really. This is how I kind of started the whole thing off, because this is the map. Even though it's not the clearest, I'm sorry about that, you can't see the particular tribal names, but this is the map of Australia, this island here being Tasmania, which was that Van Diemen's Land. Um, Now, all these different colours differentiate different tribes that basically existed here, and they all had a different culture, a different dialect, different traditions, different laws, but they all, they weren't really warring at each other. There was not a warring nation. Like, there were like times of fights and things like that, I'm sure, but it wasn't like you know they were constantly at war. These people realized that they were all in the dreaming. This is dream time. So like, um, you know, they didn't have a need for, as still goes today. They don't have any need or understanding of the money. system because it's not required. They live off the land. Everything they need is given to them from the earth, um, and they're going to go back to that. So that's how they live. So I mean, and you can see there's hundreds, like I could count. I don't know, hundreds of different. And as I said before previously, this place is breaking up. If you follow the cursor, we've got Queensland here. You'd have New South Wales about here, Victoria here, ACT is in here, which is where Canberra is, our capital territory. Tasmania there, South Australia here, Northern Territory in this position, and everything to the left of this line is Western Australia. So there were 6 states and 2 territories that they've divided Australia up to. But previously, this was done by Norman Tyndale, a gentleman, a European gentleman that lived from 1900 to 1993. In 1940, he did this. He went travelled around Australia to map out as best he could. So there's quite a significant piece of information and part of a chapter in and I think pivotal moments that have shaped the history that we live in today of the society. If more people were aware of this, I think there'd be a little bit of different common thought over here, like to realize that each of these little places were little kind of tribes with dialects and their own traditions and culture. Very, very civilized culture too, not just like people think these people were primitive and nothing. No, they were very smart. And same thing with the U.S. Constitution. A lot of that ideas had been based off the Native Americans, kind of their law of the land. You know, um, a lot of that was taken, like the people who did the U.S. Constitution were. Who's this fella? Who's that guy? How come he made the grade? Morgan the Bush Ranger. Alright, so this guy would have been one of the, because as I said, it was a jail penal colony, right? So a lot of the kind of not settlers, but the people that came here, they broke out of these jails and became um, outlaws, I guess you could say, on the run. And a lot of them did try and integrate with the indigenous peoples. Maybe a lot of them didn't. A lot of them couldn't survive. They didn't survive out once they left once they escaped the institution or whatever. They died of the heat. They couldn't survive. They couldn't find food. But I'm not sure what Morgan really did. But Ned Kelly is a very famous bushranger type figure over here. Um, but I'm not sure if you guys have heard of him. Um, Alright, there's a bit of a motivational quote. I might name that for this room that I'm in. If you guys are, oh no, I suppose I've got, recovering addict. Actually, I'll give him a plug because he's a champion. If anybody wants to go in substance abuse or anything like that, anything, just come and watch it. It's really, really balanced, beautiful place to be. Um, what should I say? I'll just say. Sorry about this. Um, here's another one. Just a great, to show this is kind of like the eugenics. The eugenics. This is the you see me type it all the time. F eugenics, F big pharma. They are the biggest. Well, F eugenics full stop. F and eugenesis, and then F big pharma because they are the biggest drug dealers in the world, right? So I mean, just look at this. This whole documentation. This is a book written by Rosalind Poignant, Professional Savages, Captive Lives, and Western Spectacle. So, to me, who is the savage in this picture? Is it the like well, is it the child or is it the uh, six adults that are six indigenous adults, or is it the one eugenist up there in the suit and tie? I don't know. It's a question that can be debated. But to me, my opinion, I'd give it to the suit and tie, hands down. He is the most savage out of them all. As reasoning being, everybody else here is in harmony with nature, and they seem to traditionally can get along with the simplest of needs, and you know realize the damage that they do to the land, and they move on rather than just continue to constantly profit and profit and profit, in the sense of greed, and kind of be aware of it. There must be, they can't say that, oh, no, 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 it was my full intention to, you know, bring these people into light and, um, treat them right. Because but even though they laughed about and called racist jokes, cut their heads off, shot them, it was, got money for bringing their heads in. So that's what makes it even more savage. The lies and the dishonest, um, just the dishonest ways of them. Like they act so aristocratic and uppity and things like that. When really they are the most disgusting, savage people. In that behavior, because these guys are just they're living like they're living and being honest, whereas this is all a fraudulent thing. This guy goes home, has to take off his suit, tie his shoes, he probably stinks like anything, he spits everywhere, he sweats everywhere, he drinks, he smokes this thing, whereas these guys don't. As I said before, you look at their bodies, they're so fit, they've got six packs, um, muscles and everything, all of them, because of their diet, the way they live, and they're not getting sick. They weren't exposed to germs or anything. No alcohol, none of this. Nowadays, yes, and it's kind of ruined a lot of it, a lot of the culture and the people. So, you know, it's a bit of a shame, but you know, it is part of life and it's part of what's going down. So, um, we just got to try and shine and be the best that we can be. Um, as I said, this was just some impromptu thing that I came through. I hope everybody enjoyed. I've been up here for an hour. Much peace to Party for coming through. Um, I don't know why he jumped off. Maybe he had some technical issues. But if nobody else has really got any topics that they want me to have a look at, um, or no one wants to come up, that's all G. I hope you guys are doing well and have thank you again. Thank you everyone for coming through, um, and joining me. I hope you do. I hope you enjoyed it really, and you got some information out of there, which was, something you didn't realize before I put this up. So I will definitely continue to be doing such things like this. I'm going to be doing more music tutorials, these sort of panels, likewise things. So any topics you do want, just jump at it, pop it in the comments or something, and I'll definitely get to that for sure. I've just got somebody new jumped in. Much peace, much peace. I was about to end it up, but if anybody, uh, does want to, I'll do it. Go for the last one. I'll put it up there. There's the last sort of link. If you guys want to come up, have your word heard, anything. Like if you've got something going on in your life you want to get out, or um, just yeah, anything you want to express, just come up, say it. This is a really open panel. I don't mind. Um, but yeah, while that happens, oh, we go. Oh, we got somebody who wants to come up. Hello, Ken Kenneth. How are you, brother? Oh, some technical difficulties. Okay, so we got somebody that came up but doesn't want to say anything. Um, that's all good. So I guess I'll probably end it off. So much appreciation to everybody, and stay well, stay fresh, be peaceful. All right. Oh, another one comes through. Kirk, man, peace. What up? Much blessings. I was just getting out though. All right. Well, I could stay on for a while, but I don't know what's going on with this representative here. Can you hear me, bro? Oh, I don't know. I don't think he can hear me. He's playing games as usual, but that's cool. Peace to everybody out there. Kirk, Queen, Kaylee. That's right. Charlotte, thank you. Super Sense Day One, Godbody, Poor Dirt, Party Music, Green Leaf, Merc. Much props. Everybody, thank you very much, eh? Stay well and just see you soon. Take care. Do your thing.